Welcome to Creative Genius Labs. I'm your host, Zane Wild. Today, on Creative Genius Labs, imagine pouring your heart and soul into creating something groundbreaking, only to watch someone else take all the credit. Today, we explore the life of Jack Kirby, a true visionary, and how his battles for recognition can teach you to fight for your own creative voice, even when the world tries to silence it. You might think you know what it takes to change the world, but Jack Kirby's story will make you question everything you understand about creativity, resilience, and the power of transforming pain into possibility. Picture a narrow street in New York's Lower East Side, 1920s. A small boy lies unconscious, carefully arranged on his mother's doorstep, not in defeat, but in the first act of a legend. This is Jacob Kurtzberg, who will become Jack Kirby, the man who would reshape popular culture with nothing more than a pencil and an unbreakable spirit. The streets whispered violence, ethnic tensions crackled like live wires. Rent was $12 a month, and a nickel felt like winning the lottery. But young Jacob saw something different. Where others saw chaos, he saw potential. Where fists flew, he drew lines that would become universes. Poverty wasn't a limitation for Jacob, it was his training ground. He dropped out of Pratt Institute on the first day, not out of weakness, but out of a fierce commitment to his family's survival. While other artists waited for opportunity, he created it. Animating Popeye cartoons at Max Fleischer Studios wasn't just a job. It was his first battlefield, where he learned to turn constraints into creativity. But wanting wasn't enough. Kirby understood that dreams require action, that talent needs courage to breathe. In 1941, the world teetered on the brink of darkness. While others debated, Jack Kirby and Joe Simon did something radical. They created Captain America, a comic book hero who literally punched Hitler on the cover months before the United States entered World War II. Imagine the audacity. Death threats followed, but Kirby didn't flinch. This wasn't just art, this was resistance. This was an immigrant's son declaring that courage has no borders. World War II wasn't an abstract concept for Kirby, it was a visceral reality. Landing at Omaha Beach after D-Day, he wasn't just a soldier. He was a scout who used his most powerful weapon, a pencil. While bullets flew, he sketched enemy positions, transforming immediate danger into strategic intelligence. Frostbite nearly claimed his legs. Lesser men would have surrendered. Kirby saw it as another challenge to overcome. His resilience wasn't just physical, it was a metaphor for his entire approach to life and art. Returning from war, Kirby found Marvel Comics on the brink of collapse. Picture Stan Lee sitting and weeping. But where others saw failure, Kirby saw opportunity. And then came the explosion of creativity. Fantastic Four, X-Men, Thor, Hulk. Each character wasn't just ink on paper. They were living, breathing manifestations of human potential. The Kirby crackle, his signature technique of depicting raw energy, wasn't just a drawing style. It was a philosophy. Potential is everywhere, waiting to be unleashed. His drawing table was more than furniture. It was a portal to infinite worlds. Each stroke challenged the boundaries of imagination, transforming the brutal lessons of his childhood into cosmic possibilities. If you're enjoying Creative Genius Labs, please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code for our free 7-day email course, The Master Creators Challenge. Unlock hacks that make Vinci, Banksy, and Lady Gaga creative giants. Now, back to the episode. But creativity has its battlegrounds, and Kirby was about to face his most personal war. The very worlds he created were being claimed by others. Legal papers, contractual small print. Suddenly, the man who birthed universes was being written out of his own story. This wasn't just about credit. This was about recognition, about seeing the human behind the art, about understanding that every creation carries the soul of its creator. At DC Comics, Kirby wasn't just creating stories. He was staging a creative revolution. The Fourth World Saga was more than a comic series, it was a personal manifesto. This wasn't just storytelling, this was an act of creative rebellion. Darkseid, Orion, the entire new gods mythology, these were metaphors for Kirby's own internal battles. But the world wasn't ready. His most personal work was met with confusion, then silence. Can you imagine pouring your entire soul into something, only to have it misunderstood? This was Kirby's constant struggle, being decades ahead of everyone else's imagination. Picture him at comic conventions in the 1980s. Older now, slightly hunched, but that spark of creativity never dimmed. Fans would approach, seeking autographs, but Kirby saw something deeper. He saw a generation hungry for stories that could transform their understanding of possibility. But what he really meant was, the world will try to break your spirit, don't let it. His warning wasn't cynicism, it was a battle cry. Here's something most people don't know. Kirby's art was so powerful it was used by the CIA in real-life rescue operations. His imagination didn't just create fictional worlds, it actively reshaped reality. Pop art, superhero mythology, narrative techniques that would influence generations of storytellers. Kirby didn't just create comics, he created a new language of human potential. Listen closely. This isn't just Jack Kirby's story, this is your story. You have been told your differences are weaknesses. Your oddness is actually your greatest strength. Like Kirby, who transformed street violence into cosmic adventures, you have the power to turn your challenges into your most remarkable creations. The world will try to put you in boxes. It will offer you contracts that minimize your genius. It will present obstacles that seem insurmountable. But remember Jack Kirby, he didn't just survive. He redefined entire art forms. Your unique perspective is not a liability, it is your superpower. In the end, Kirby's life wasn't about comic books. It was about refusing to be defined by other people's limitations, about transforming pain into possibility, about understanding that your dreams don't just describe the world, they can remake it. Marvel finally acknowledged his contributions in their movies, decades after his work first appeared. But recognition was never Kirby's goal, creating was. And Jack Kirby's dreams made the world larger than it had ever been. What will you create? What worlds will you birth from your own oddness? The blank page is waiting. And just like Kirby, you have the power to fill it with universes. On the next episode of Creative Genius Labs, Jack Kirby's battles for recognition and artistic integrity echo throughout the comic book world. But what happens when that fight begins not on the page, but as a reaction to the confines of the real world? Imagine a world where expulsion from school becomes the catalyst for a creative revolution. This week, we're continuing our exploration of comic artists and graphic novelists. and we'll meet a storyteller whose journey began with a teenage act of rebellion. This individual, deemed an outsider, transformed his oddness into magic, challenging the very foundations of the industry. Who is this revolutionary? Stick around, because you won't want to miss this next story. Please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code, or follow the pinned link to get our free 7-day email course, The Master Creators Challenge. 7 days, 7 creative legends. Unlock your inner creative genius using the secret tactics of history's most revolutionary artists. Click the video that just popped up to watch the next one in this series. Or for episode summaries, behind-the-scenes info, and more, go to daily8.com/CGL. Thanks for watching.